You good?
Yeah.
Proverbs 2, verse 1. My son, child, doesn't matter, okay? My son, if you will receive my words and store my commands inside of you, paying attention. Remember? Sign language? Pay attention means focus. Focus, right? Focus. To wisdom. Ooh. Incline your mind toward understanding. Yes, if you will call for insight and raise your voice for discernment. If you seek it as you would silver and search for it as hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of Adonai and find knowledge of God. So that's the first 5 verses. Let me stop there. Discernment. Paying attention, focusing on wisdom, inclining your mind toward understanding. So understanding in verse 2 and discernment in verse 3 are the same. It comes from the root word. It comes from understanding, intelligence, and insight. So if you're talking about understanding, if you're talking about discernment, you know, we want discernment, right? It means that you have understanding, you have insight, right? Intelligence, insight. But the word really, it's insight. And we want his discernment. We want his insight, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you seek for it as you would silver. In other words, it's got value, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And search for it as hidden treasure. Have you ever lost something? Maybe it was important, maybe it wasn't, but it was important to you. And you will stop everything until you find it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Find it. Mm-hmm. Search. Okay? Search. Abide. You say you love him. Do you know him? This is the only way you're going to know him. Well, that's one of those lovely planes. And that one's flying really, really, really low. They're harassing us lately. I don't know why. They're not supposed to fly over our little town. Sorry. So, search for it. Maybe they're looking for hidden treasure and they're flying so low. I don't know. This is your treasure. And where your treasure is...
there will your heart be also.
Yes. Okay, hide it in your heart. Mm-hmm. Out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth speaks.
The mouth speaks, okay? Which means the hands do and the feet go, mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if the mouth's going to speak it, if it's in your heart, your hands are going to do it. Your feet are going to walk it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you will understand the fear of Adonai. The fear of Adonai is the beginning of everything, right? Okay. Should you be afraid of him? Yeah, if you're not his. You should be. Wrath is coming. Absolutely. But our kind of fear is awe and wonder. And on the day when he fully reveals himself, we're going to just like melt like a puddle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's beyond what we can comprehend. Okay. You will understand the fear of Adonai and you will find knowledge of God. Right here. And walking your life then and living it. Okay? Mm-hmm. For Adonai gives wisdom. Adonai, that's skill, shrewdness, prudence. Okay? From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. That's the same understanding that was in verses 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, his insight. He stores up common sense for the upright. We're lacking a lot of common sense out there, people. Mm-hmm. You know, when we walk in the world, that's one thing that we can see is missing. There's not a lot of common sense right now. Okay? And we can think, we can think of plenty of examples. I don't need to give you any. You see them every day.
That's because the wisdom of man is as foolishness to God.
Yes.
And they're dependent on their own wisdom.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Common sense comes from God. Do you see that? From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He stores up common sense for the upright. It comes from him. Common sense is a gift from God. Mm-hmm. He is a shield. Remember that? The buckler? Mm-hmm. Pew, 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 right? All the arrows fly off. All the fiery darts. Not just some. right? If I trust, if I'm going to stay behind the shield. You know, if I remove the shield of faith, then I'm going to get a dart.
Mm-hmm.
But if I stand behind the faith, if I believe, like Stephen, fully confident, absolutely beyond a shadow of doubt, steadfast, firm in that belief and understanding, every single one is going to stop. But if I doubt, if I quit and I remove, and there's something that he revealed to me, and it just went, phew. There it is, thank you. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. When the enemy comes at you with false accusations or with darts, it doesn't, I mean, it can be, it doesn't even have to be words. It can be anything. When the enemy comes at you to steal, kill, and destroy, what is he trying to do?
Distract you.
Trying to distract you? And if he can't distract you, he'll try to cause you to doubt.
Mm-hmm.
If he comes to steal, then you're like, did I do it? Did I do it right? What is that? Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Do I understand this correct? That is doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying? We need to learn to identify it. Okay, discern it. That comes from him. Okay? All right. The doubt, the stealing, the killing, the destroying, the distraction, those are the enemy. God stays focused. Okay? Okay. He gives discernment, understanding, intelligence, insight. So I'm going to start at 7 again. He stores up common sense for the upright. He is a shield to those whose conduct is blameless. Am I blameless? No, but in him, in his eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, does that not blow you away? God Almighty, creator of everything, in his eyes, because he sees me through the blood, through the torn veil, I'm blameless. It says that word means integrity. Okay, do I have integrity? It doesn't mean I don't blow it. We're going to blow it. We are going to blow it. It's what you do when you blow it. Okay? It's your integrity, your completeness. Sometimes part of the word could mean innocence and simplicity. Okay? Am I going to convolute it? That's the enemy. Keep it simple. Mm-hmm. Keep it simple. Okay? Keep it simple. In order to guard the course of justice, okay, and preserve the way of those faithful to him, then you will understand, you will discern and consider righteousness, justice. That's mishpat, to act justly, right? Okay. Fairness and every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart. Knowledge will be enjoyable for you. Whoa. Discretion will watch over you, and discernment will guard you. I'm going to pull out a couple words here. In fairness there, equity, evenness. So in verse 9, where it says fairness in every good path, then you will understand righteousness, justice, fairness, which means equity. Not equality. Those are two different things. Okay? Evenness, level. That's what it means. It's level, it's fair. It's level. It's smooth, it's straight. In other words, the path is straight when you follow God's way, but it's not, right? Okay. So there are two different words used here for guarding, and, there's another one. Let me see. Oops. Let me go here. Okay. There's two different words that are used. To guard, shamar, right? Guard, keep, right? We've learned this one before. To guard, to observe, to keep. That's the one in verse 8, in order to guard. Oh, no, excuse me. That's not the one in verse 8. That's what I want to pull out. It's the one down here in watch over. That's shamar. In verse 11, that's shamar. But the guard in verse 11 and the guard in verse 8 in the complete Jewish Bible is a completely different word. Shamar is internal, personal, and interrelational. Okay? To guard and to keep. We are to guard this fellowship. We're to keep it. We're to guard and keep Shabbat. That's interpersonal. That's me and you. And if you see something in me interpersonally, Shamar, we keep each other. We keep each other in check. Right? Okay, that's internal. Okay, now there's another word. The word in order to guard the course of justice, and in order in verse 11, and discernment will guard you. This is different. It's a completely different word. It's nasar. Natsar. Okay, it's a nets. I'm sorry. The nasal, my allergies are stopping me from saying it correctly. It's natsar. Okay? And it means watchman, protection, external. To guard, to watch, to keep, to watch over. Okay? So I want to show you something. Oops. Okay, maybe I don't. Oh, let me continue and then I'll show you something. I want to show you something about the guarding. Okay? Verse 12, they will save you from the way of evil, bad, raw. If it's not God, it's bad. And from those who speak deceitfully, who leave the paths of honesty to walk the ways of darkness or obscurity. That word darkness can also be obscurity. Who delight in doing evil, bad. Okay, you can use the word bad because sometimes evil people go, I'm not evil, I'm a good person. Good people go to hell too. Okay? Not all good people go to heaven. It's only through Yeshua. Okay. And take joy in being stubbornly deceitful from those whose tracks are twisted and whose paths are perverse, which means those whose paths are devious, those whose paths depart or turn aside, turn away from. Okay? They go wrong. They're crooked. They lose the view. They didn't stay focused, so they lost sight. Okay? That's what that word means. Okay. I want to take you back to the two words, to guard and to keep, and watchman, natsar, watchman. Okay? There's a difference. Okay, I want to go to Ezekiel. Son of man, I have given you as a watchman to the house of Israel, so you will hear a word from my mouth and you shall warn them from me. Ezekiel specifically is going to be a watchman over Israel, meaning this is more internal. He's watching over Israel. He's to watch Israel and to point out to Israel. That's internal. Okay? But now listen to every other time, other than Ezekiel, where watchman is used. In Samuel, 2 Samuel 13:34, however, Absalom, David's son, took flight. And the young man keeping watch, that's watchman, that's the same word, that's there, looked up and saw many people coming along the road behind him on the hillside. So what's the watchman doing? He's standing on the wall, looking out. The city's behind him. Follow me? The city is behind the wall. Watchmen stand on the wall. Ezekiel's told to watch over Israel, so he's turning and watching Israel. Most watchmen are on the wall with Israel hemmed in, and they're looking out. Okay. 2 Samuel 18:24, 26, and 27. David was sitting between the two gates. A watchman went up to the roof of the gate and onto the wall, raised his eyes, looked and saw there a man running by himself. And the watchman saw another man running and called to the gatekeeper, there's another man running by himself. And the king said, oh, he too must have good news. And the watchman said, the first one runs like I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The son of Zadok. And the king said, oh, he's a good man. He comes with, what is the watchman doing? He sees what's coming and he's announcing it to the king or to the people behind the wall, right? That's what a watchman does. They see the danger. Okay, there's more references. So I will let you look up 2 Kings 9:17 through 18 and 20. The lookout standing on the watchtower. He saw troops approaching. He goes, I see troops coming. Okay, they're calling out what's out there as a warning. Okay. Then the one in Ezekiel that I read. Son of man, I have given you as a watchman over Israel. There's a difference. Okay. When you're a watchman over Israel, Ezekiel's going to do it in love, but he's still going to do it in truth. When you're a watchman on behalf of, you're watching for the danger and you're going to warn about that, right? Yeah. Okay. And if you read in Ezekiel, for Ezekiel's case, he says, likewise, you human being, I have appointed you as a watchman for the house of Israel. Therefore, when you hear the word from my mouth, if you're going to be an internal watchman, you don't just go on your own. You don't go because you see something. You go because when you hear the word from my mouth, warn them. When I tell the wicked person, you will certainly die, and you fail to speak and warn the wicked person to leave his way, then that wicked person will die, and I will hold you responsible for his death. On the other hand, if you warn the wicked person to turn from his way, and he doesn't turn from his way, then he will still die guilty, but you will have saved your own life, because I told you to go. It's different than the New Testament where it says, if you see a speck in your brother's eye, okay, and it warns you, check your own heart first, right? There's a warning about that. That's called judgment. That's not of God, okay? All right, back to Proverbs. Wisdom will save you from the evil way, right? Discretion, discernment, being guarded, watchmen, those who speak deceitfully, those who leave the paths of honesty to walk the ways of darkness. Verse 14, who delight in doing bad, who take joy in being stubbornly deceitful, from those whose tracks are twisted, whose paths are perverse. Here's what perverse means. Perverse means turned away from what is right or good. It's corrupt. It's improper or incorrect. It's contrary to the evidence or the direction of the judge on a point of law. It's contrary. It's obstinate, opposing what is right, reasonable, or accepted. In other words, you're wrong-headed. We have a different term for that. We call them pig-headed. Right? Wrong-headed. Arising from or indicative of stubbornness or obstinacy. Marked by peevishness or petulance. Cranky. Marked by perversion. Let's not be that. Okay? Let's not be that.
Well, I do get cranky.
Well, okay, as long as you're not perversely cranky,
Okay.
all right? As long as it's not marked by peevishness or petulance, okay? That's different than fuck. Never mind, I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, verse 16. They will save you from a woman who is a stranger, from a loose... you know what? I actually... let me just read through that. Who abandons the ruler she had in her youth, who forgets the covenant of her God. Don't forget the covenant of your God. Wisdom will not forget, right? Okay. Her house is sinking toward death. Her paths lead to the dead. None who go to her return. They never again regain the path of life. So, you asked earlier about, what about the 10 virgins? 5 whose lamps of oil were filled and ready, and the other 5 who were not. What does this say? None who go to her return. They never regain the path to life. There's warnings all throughout Scripture, old and new. Walk on the path. Do the right thing. Right? It's there. None who go to her return. They never regain the path to life. Oh, don't walk so far away. Thus you will walk on the way of good people and keep to the paths of righteous. For the upright will live in the land. The pure-hearted will remain there, but the wicked will be cut off from the land, the unfaithful rooted out of it. There is not going to be a brand new earth and heaven. It's renewed, okay? It's renewed. When he made creation, it was good. And when he finally got to it was very good. He's going to renew it. Okay? He's going to destroy the current systems, the current evil, the current decay. Okay, that's going to be refined by fire. It's refining. It's going to be renewed. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be rooted out of it, because we will inherit. We are the inheritors. Okay? All who call on the name of the Lord, Yeshua. Does that make sense? Okay. So, if you get nothing out of this one, concentrate and focus, right? Adonai gives wisdom. He's the one who gives understanding. He's the one which is discretion or discernment, which is, what is that? Insight. That's the word I'm looking for. You want insight. You want wisdom, like James says. Ask him for it. He'll give it to you. And read Proverbs. He'll give you that too. He's already given us a jump start in Proverbs. But there's more than Proverbs to learn from God. You're going to also learn when you are tested. Remember, you're always going to be tested. But we pray, lead us not into hard testing, right? It's not temptation because he doesn't tempt. Lead us not into hard testing. In other words, let me remember your word, and remember you are always faithful and you have nothing but good plan for me. You're not looking up there going, oh, let's see if I can get her to mess up. That's not what he's trying to do. It's not his will that any should perish. He wants us to succeed. So he's going, come on, kid, you know I gave it to you. You read it just the other day. Now do it. Okay? A good teacher doesn't want you to fail the test. Because if you fail the test, you don't have a good teacher. Let that one stick with you. All right. Okay.